Many people assume trauma bonding is simply two people connecting over a shared history of pain. In reality, it describes a powerful emotional addiction to an abuser. Dr. Patrick Carnes created this term to define the specific relationship a victim develops with the person causing them harm. These bonds are often a survival strategy in the face of an extreme power imbalance. The phenomenon was first identified following a 1973 bank robbery in Stockholm, Sweden. Despite being held captive for days, the hostages refused to testify against their captors and even raised money for their legal defense. Breaking free from this type of attachment requires more than just willpower. We are going to walk through a 4-step action plan designed to stop the cycle of addiction and start the healing process. Before we move to the first step, please ensure you are in a safe, private environment. It is incredibly important that you are not being monitored by the person you are concerned about as you watch this. Approaching the bond as a psychological condition rather than a character flaw is the starting point. Reframing the situation this way provides the distance needed to begin reclaiming your independent identity. Step 1 is to map your relationship against the clinical stages of abuse. By comparing your experiences to the 7 stages of trauma bonding, you can begin to see the relationship as an objective pattern rather than a series of isolated events. The cycle often begins with love bombing, where an abuser uses excessive affection and gifts to gain trust. Eventually, this shifts. The abuser becomes cold and critical, using gaslighting to make you doubt your own memories and perceptions. This leads to the final stage, emotional addiction. Driven by intermittent reinforcement, moments of cruelty are followed by sudden affection. Your brain releases dopamine during good times, but when bad times return, it releases high cortisol, the stress hormone linked to drug withdrawal. It is a common trap to believe you can fix the bond by helping the abuser change. However, you cannot heal your abuser. Because they often do not view their behavior as harmful, the responsibility for change rests with you leaving the situation. Recognizing this hormonal cycle helps remove the weight of misplaced guilt. It demonstrates that the difficulty in leaving is the result of a chemical addiction cycle, not a lack of personal strength. Step 2 is to break the bond by anchoring your focus on the present reality rather than the past or a hypothetical future. Abusers often create dependency by promising an imagined future, talking about upcoming vacations, marriage, or a change in their behavior. These promises keep you hopeful and committed, even while you are being mistreated in the present. To counter this, you must document what is happening right now. Keeping a record of daily criticism, isolation, or manipulation creates a factual baseline. This makes it harder for your brain to rely on the abuser's version of the truth. When you force your brain to confront documented facts, you remove the abuser's most effective weapon, the illusion that things will improve without intervention. Step 3 is to execute a strict no-contact boundary to sever all communication. This is a biological necessity. Any contact, even a negative interaction, re-triggers the dopamine and cortisol cycle we discussed earlier. It keeps the addiction active in your brain. This requires blocking phone numbers, deleting old message threads, and unfollowing all social media accounts. You are creating a barrier that allows your internal stress levels to finally begin to stabilize. Breaking this bond is a process. Like substance withdrawal, it often takes multiple attempts to stay away for good. If you slip up and make contact, it is not a sign of failure, but a sign of the bond's strength. No contact is a physiological intervention. By removing the source of the intermittent reinforcement, you are starving the addiction and allowing your brain to reset. Step 4 is seeking specialized professional support. Because trauma bonds change how the brain signals threat and reward, standard talk therapy may not reach the root of the trauma. EMDR, or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, is a therapeutic approach designed to resolve traumatic memories. This roadmap shows the clinical path used to address the specific triggers and emotional damage caused by narcissistic abuse. During EMDR, a therapist uses bilateral stimulation while you recall distressing events, helping the brain store memories without high-stress responses. As therapy moves into reprocessing, the goal is replacing trauma distress with adaptive, healthy beliefs about your safety and autonomy. Specialized therapy moves the burden of recovery onto a structured, scientific process. It provides a path to permanently rewire trauma responses and end the cycle of the bond. We have covered the 4 key steps: recognizing the clinical stages of abuse, anchoring yourself in documented facts, cutting all contact, and engaging in trauma-specific therapy. These steps shift your role from someone reacting to an abuser's demands to someone leading their own recovery. Your next step is to schedule an assessment with a clinical trauma therapist. You can find specialized care through organizations like Sequoia Behavioral Health or Phoenix Thriving Therapy to begin this process. Everyone deserves a future free from abuse. By following these 4 steps, you are taking the actions necessary to reclaim your life.